Thrand here.
Hello, this is Eldgrim.
And we're back with the Katana
Versus
the 13th century sword, the Type 13 sword that
The
we
hand
tested
in the
many
hand,
times,
yeah.
much like a knight would use at that time period, or somebody clad in full mail
right.
armor. This is the samurai blade, this is the katana, this is actually the style they would have used in the later century dueling. So they would have used it to cut through cloth and stuff.
Right.
I mean, the Japanese wear lots of layers. I mean, a kimono is, I don't know how many layers, what is it, like 7 or 14?
I wouldn't even know.
I'm not even exactly sure on different time periods it changes, but they also wore lots of layers of fabric. So I mean, I think it's designed to cut through fabric, especially up close like we've seen.
Right.
That works better at the tip shots, so, I mean, but I still don't think either one of them, because the velocity generated in thrusting is a lot, with a sword, is not as, you have body behind it, but you don't have as much speed.
Yeah, you don't get that. Yeah, you don't get the acceleration or the
You do have mass behind it.
You have the mass and you have your weight behind it, but I don't think you get the velocity in that cut.
Right. I'm just saying I'm not sure if it's going to perform. Either one of them will perform very well.
That's my hypothesis.
This
I think,
heavy Gambeson is the one we cut through in the other video, correct?
yeah,
So, yeah.
we're going to be doing 32 layers of Gambeson on larger water jugs to have more, give them every chance possible.
Right.
And our hypothesis is simply this: we don't think either sword is going to perform well with short.
Okay, because we'll start off. I'm
thrusts.
going to start off with Seigan with something you'd use in fencing, like in a Japanese fencing style, like you would have it pointed at the man's throat, so it looks like the blade's pointed at his face. And when you go to thrust, he doesn't know when you're going to do it. You thrust, and it's kind of a short thrust, but it's got a lot of power.
It does.
I will use body mechanics in it to get full force.
I still don't think it's going to generate as much as us casting the blow out and catching with the tip.
Right, I
on
doubt
the
either
Gambeson.
one of them will make it through. I mean, and if they don't, we're going to crank it up a bit. I could do some really extreme thrusts.
So yeah, we'll start out with some basic thrusts, and then we'll start winding it up a little more, and of course, then you might see some more telegraphing, maybe.
Right,
But we're not going to start out telegraphing.
Oh no, most certainly not. And I'm also I'm worried we might destroy the bottles. We only have 2 today. Large bottles.
We have limited means today.
Yeah, I have a friend who gives them to me, donates them to me. But anyway, we've got like a piece of burlap type material at the bottom rolled up. It looks kind of funny. That's in case we miss, so we don't slide into the bottle and slice it when we're in the test. Because when you get excited and on adrenaline, it's very possible when you're trying to go through something to miss your mark. It's not like just standing there and doing it in an even pace over and over again because you want full speed and force.
Right. True. So we're gonna give ourselves every opportunity to continue testing until we finally rupture the bottles. And so we'll move on with that now, and I hope you all enjoy it. And we'll see how both these perform against 32 layers of Gambeson.
If it's possible, I'm going through.
That's what I'm thinking about doing.
Let's get going. Hey, Thrand here. Today we're going to test out the Katana first, and we're going to see if it can thrust to the amount of Gambeson that we tip cut through with the European 13th century Type 13 hand-and-a-half sword, and it was unable to go through with the tip. But we only had one test on that, and we only had one try, and that's the results we got that day. So we did come back and we did some stuff with the Katana. It turned out really, really well in close slicing. But today we want to test the actual thrusting capability for reach. We're going to do that against the European sword as well, and just see how well they thrust through this amount of Gambeson. This is some tough Gambeson. We have 32 layers here. I mean, I would be surprised if it just knock it over and go through, because you got to get velocity. Cuts have a lot of velocity. It's like hacking with an axe, or the overarm throwing slide. The cast blow has more velocity. That's why it works better against the tatami and cutting or fibrous materials. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this started and see what happens. Ah! Ooh, crap. We busted it when it fell, but all we did is push it over. It didn't go through whatsoever. We lost our medium on that.
Bottle ruptured, but the
That wasn't from the impact. The bottle ruptured, but not from the impact of the thrust. The thrust pushed it over and put a little dimple in it. That's all we got. The other thing you saw on there at the bottom was just to keep me from thrusting underneath it, or one of us from getting carried away and going all out thrusting underneath it. Let's set up and try again with the European sword, see how it does. This gives you an idea of the extent of how much Gambeson we have. We have a little dimple. It didn't even begin to cut into it. But thrusts have less velocity normally. They mostly have body weight and mass behind them, and this thing only has so much mass.
now we're back with the 13th century knight's sword, and we're going to do the two-handed thrust against this very thick and very tough Gambeson that's folded to 32 layers against a very large, heavy jug to give it every opportunity to try and stab through and see if we can do it. I got a feeling it's probably not going to do it. I mean, I don't even think a bow and arrow could go through this very easily, but we're going to give it our best shot here and see what we can do.
I would guess that if they had 80, 90 pounds will not go through from a bow, just to give you an idea.
Oh, I
Broadhead, bodkin, anything from our test before. Oh! Oh!
And that was just a short little stick like you'd get in an actual fight, not anything wound up or telegraphed. Like,
Ha ha ha!
did I get it?
You made it through, but I don't think you ruptured the bottle. Let's analyze it.
That's a good
So
idea.
the thrust was better than the Katana. I didn't even expect that. I figured since the rigidity, they'd be real close to the same. We might have a hole in it. We might have a hole. We do. He made it in. Grant you, not very deep. He made it through 32 layers with that. The double edge and the straight sword, even though it has more flex to it and not as rigid as the Katana, made it in. I am impressed. I didn't expect that. I didn't think either one could make it through. That means there's more force behind that sword and the way it cuts and thrusts in there than there would be behind an arrow. The modern arrows aren't as heavy as ancient arrows. They were slightly heavier in ounces, not a lot, but thicker towards the front so they didn't break. And the bows were a lot stouter. They had bows that were over 100-pound draw, so maybe that's why. Because you just can't generate enough force behind that arrow, even with the velocity, to pierce this. Because we've already tested that. You can't pierce this. But that actually made it through all our layers. It's not a very big hole, and we barely poked the guy. I mean, he'd be bleeding. But he'd have felt that. Would he be dead like he would be without it? No, that would have went clean through and out the back side, but I'm saying that's not very deep. You can tell the width of the sword, that doesn't go up to the, you could probably put it back in here and figure it out. Not like that. Let's say about there, because we don't want to over-exaggerate it or anything. You got him about 1.5 inches in. I'm impressed. Got a little dirt on the blade there, but I'm impressed.
Not a bad sword at all.
That was awesome.
It performed very well for what, and I really didn't think I was going to get through all that. But you see how much the sword kind of bent a little as it went in?
Yeah, if you were half swording it would be better in some respects, but still, that was beautiful. I'm impressed, very, very much impressed. I did not expect this. We thought that neither sword were going to be able to go through, and only those real high speed tip cuts or the full draw cut with all the body behind it were going to go through like we did in the other videos. We weren't expecting this.
Not at all.
That's probably why the taper changed. It got more distal taper. It got skinnier towards the front. You've got more of a profile taper. That was probably why. Because they were stabbing in niches, and this means no matter how much Gambeson you had under your arms, it's going through. All right, Eldgrim, you made it through with the 13th century sword.
Jawohl.
Yeah, I feel a little weak on that one. I used a Seigan posture, a typical fencing technique you would use in the Bujinkan to take advantage of your enemy, which is a very sharp thrust. I think I can get a lot more power with that with the proper body mechanics for Bujinkan Budo Taijutsu. Let's go ahead and try that out. Go ahead and see what I can do.
Well, what do you say, Thrand? Did you make it?
Let's just set it back up and see. No, we've lost our rigidity or our pressure in the bottle. Otherwise, I think maybe I could have made it. I think I made it through, but just not all the way. I made it almost all the way through. I have like a couple of layers left. I didn't quite make it. I got pretty good.
So we could say that it's because you didn't have enough rigidity in the bottle, or it could be because of the blade. Maybe we should get another bottle and some more Gambeson and test it again later.
More force, but it's going to take a lot more force than I think what you actually had to impart.
I think it was a lot easier with the European sword.
I believe so.
I think it's the point.
That's what I'm saying. Now, I think the straight edge, even though the katana, the curve in the katana is actually from when it's quenched. So the whole thing is it's straight up to that point. And depending on when they make the hamon on the blade and the clay, that's when you get the curvature. So the curve actually aids in the cutting for the way we cut with it, but it may be taking a little bit away on the thrust, I think, maybe.
Yep.
We'll have to redo this test later. Get us another bottle. It was the only bottles we had.
Still, those were admirable thrusts. I mean, both of them.
Oh, I gave it everything I had there, but I think with the pressure lost, it didn't make it. I made it quite a ways in, but not. I mean, it wasn't enough. It would have made it through the cloth. Of course, you got to remember this target can move, which an actual person, if he was moving towards you or he was standing rigid in a solid stance, a lot of times like the Japanese like to use when they're fighting, you're gonna have people who are very rigid unless they're moving away from you or angling away from you. So yeah, I think that you possibly could get through on a human with a lot of force on the thrust. I really do.
And much easier with the European sword, for sure.
Right, but certainly if you step in and slice with the proper cutting close, then yes, I'm thinking you can go through it because we've already proven that you can cut through it. Although the tip shot or the tip cut didn't make it through in the last video on the same tool.
Right on.
Be sure and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell people about us. Refer people over to our channel if you like it.
So you can like us on Facebook at Thrand and Eldgrim's Well of Remembrance. That's Thrand and Eldgrim's Well of Remembrance on Facebook. That's our like page.
You can also ask to be a member of our select group, our closed group, which is the Thrand YouTube Boat Crew,
where you can get exclusive content and chat with other boat crew members about all things anachronistic, living history, all things Viking, and everything else. So that's the Thrand YouTube Boat Crew.
We really appreciate having you. If you can help us out with any kind of donations, you can go by Patreon if you prefer to go there.
You can donate at www.patreon.com/Thrand.
Or you can also, if you like, donate through PayPal, which our PayPal ID is thrand@yahoo.com. Just be sure and let us know what you would like us to do with the money, because we'd like to make people happy and comply to what you want. If we can do the testing, we'll surely do it. Thanks for watching, and farewell.